It is Game 2 of a 4-game set between the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. On the mound tonight is Jameson Taillon, who's been outstanding this year. He's going for his 5th win. My recap, your reactions. Coming up next, this is Yankees Game Night. How's it going, everybody? How about that? That was a 2-hour and roughly 30-minute game. Rob Manfred is having a great Memorial Day weekend so far. I hope that you are too. Memorial Day weekend and rivalry baseball doesn't get much more fun than that. You know, we find things to complain about on pretty much a nightly basis on this channel. Even when we win, there's things to complain about, and I don't blame you. We're perfectionists. Yankees fans expect perfection. That's what we loved about George Steinbrenner. He felt the way that we feel. But I think tonight, we just need to keep it celebratory because the Yankees are now 20 games over 500 before Memorial Day. We are in May. And this team is now 33-13. They lead the American League East by 6 games in the loss column over the Rays. And I saw a lot of comments coming into this series, well, the Yankees haven't played anybody. Let's see what they do against the Rays. Let's see what they do against the Rays. I'll tell you what they're doing against the Rays. They're winning.
More of that, please.
Before we start to the recap, more injury news. It seems like pretty much every night we have some kind of injury news. And tonight it's Josh Donaldson going from the COVID IL being transferred over to the regular IL with shoulder soreness. You might remember a couple years ago, he played through a pretty significant shoulder injury when he was playing against the Yankees. He couldn't even get the ball across the infield. So let's hope it's not, a resurgent case of whatever that was, and that it's just something that will heal with a little bit of rest. And honestly, he could use a little bit of a break from the spotlight given the recent things that went down with Josh Donaldson. So get well soon. Both offenses were quiet pretty early tonight. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa made a really nice backhand play in the bottom of the first inning. Top 3, Joey Gallo ripped a line drive single to right field. Hell officially frozen over Grigory Rasputin, freezing his ass off. A few batters later, Anthony Rizzo took one right to the right field warning track. Just missed a 3-run home run, but it was caught to end the inning.
Oh, there goes gravity.
That's one of those ones where everybody on the bench yells, "Weight room!" Top 4, Gleyber Torres absolutely destroyed one to left field, 438 feet, a no-doubter. 8th home run of the year.
It is far, it is gone.
Last year, he had 9 home runs in 127 games. He's already one shy of that mark, 85 games, with 85 less games, First run of the game for the Yankees. 2 batters later, Matt Carpenter smokes one out to right field. His first hit and first home run as a Yankee. That made it 2-0. That was the extent of the scoring for the game. And they compared his picture to Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood. And I felt vindicated because I made that comparison last night on this very show. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Taillon was just awesome again. Rays didn't get their first hit until the 5th inning. Bottom 6, Gleyber Torres made a really nice defensive stab on a line drive up the middle. Bottom 8, Jameson Taillon still out there. Challenges G-Man Choi on a 3-1 count. And Choi took him right to the right field wall, but Joey Gallo tracked it down.
Oh, there goes gravity.
For the second time tonight. Lots of gravity. Top 9, Miggy Two Bags. Miguel Andujar with a ground rule double to right field. His first double of the year. He's hitting .286. Clay Holmes in for the ninth inning. Final line on Jameson Taillon, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts, just 93 pitches. What a job by Jameson Taillon. 2.49 ERA on the season for Taillon. He's pitching himself into a big contract. Clay Holmes, as usual, dominated the ninth inning and slammed the door on a Yankees victory. And as I mentioned, Yankees now 20 games over 500.
More of that, please.
33-13. They lead the AL East by 6.5 games, 6 games in the loss column. And as an old friend used to say, it's what you want.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
More of that, please.
Anthony Segarra says, born again hard. I love it. We got to announce the belt. And I think that despite the home runs from Torres and Carpenter, there's really only one man that we can give it to tonight, Jameson Taillon.
Let's go. Belt winner.
Ashland says, it was a beautiful game. I love how fast it was. They got us quickly into the Memorial Day weekend. I think I'm going to take at least one day off this weekend. The Yankees have an off day on Monday. I'll probably do a recap tomorrow and then take Sunday off. I just need a day or two off. My hands are starting to hurt again from all the constant work. I could just use a couple of days. It starts to happen when the Yankees play a lot of games in a row, and the Yankees have had a lot of activity lately. Also, we got to talk about Miguel Andujar. As Brett Deutsch says, he's tracked down some gappers. He's looked pretty good. He made a nice play in the corner the other night against the Orioles. I think that Andujar looks really good out there. Wampbag Doodle says Taillon was phenomenal.
I hardly agree.
The Virginian says Holmes needs to be the closer going forward, and I think that is correct answer. I think he's got to be. I mean, Victor says Holmes with the 100-mile-an-hour sinker. That's legendary closer stuff, and you're absolutely 100% right. I can't think of another closer who's thrown a sinker that hard. It's incredible. And not only does he throw it hard, he spots it. He'll throw it over like one of those Greg Maddux type pitches, but at 100 miles an hour. It's insanity. The Earl of Demise says, the pitching by the New York Pirates was insane. It's finally good to see starters going 7 or 8 innings. And that was a pretty good pun there. New York Pirates, yes. Taillon was acquired via trade before last season from the Pirates, and then Holmes was acquired mid-season from the Pirates. We should be calling up the Pirates to see who else they got, because obviously, bringing those guys in is working. Nick Starr says, Holmes is making Chapman expendable to me. So we got to talk about the bullpen. I mean, the way that Holmes has stepped up has been phenomenal. Oh, and by the way, look at that home run from Gleyber Torres. Jeez, he just smoked that. It's good to see him driving the ball to left field again. He's been using the right side of the field a lot for his power this year. And, just to smoke one like that had to feel good. But anyway, the bullpen has really been stepping it up. Loaizaga and Chapman both down, and Holmes has been just phenomenal. And the starting staff has stepped it up. In the second straight night where we've had a starter go 8 innings. Let's take a look at the box score real quick. See, not a lot of hits on either side. Yankees out-hit the Rays 6-2. Aaron Judge took the collar tonight. He's still over 300. Rizzo took the collar as well, hitting 221. OPS hanging in there over 800, 828. He does damage when he picks up hits. Gleyber Torres. The average seems to be hovering around 230, 240, but he's playing great defense. He's hitting for a little bit more power this year. He's probably going to hit, we're about, a quarter of the way through the season. He's got 8 home runs. If you do 8 times 4, that's 32. I don't know if he's going to hit 32 home runs, although he has been swinging the bat a little bit better lately. The 2 against Baltimore, the 1 tonight. Let's say 27 home runs. You would take 240 with 27 home runs and solid defense from Gleyber Torres. I'm sorry, you would do it. And Duhar playing really well out there. Looks good in the outfield, picking up basically a base hit a night, hard hit balls all over the place. Carpenter 1 for 3 with the big home run and a walk. He worked a really good at bat against a lefty for a walk late in the game. I just see really professional at bats from him. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa 1 for 4. His average is slipping, but I'm confident that he's going to hit more as the season goes along. And he's been exactly what we've expected. Just kind of a punch and Judy hitter and solid defense. Occasional really nice plays like he made tonight. Gallo 1 for 4 tonight. 2 strikeouts. Made a really nice play in right field. Did hit a line drive. Higashioka 1 for 3 with a strikeout. And Marwin Gonzalez 0 for 3. Let's take a look at the pitching. As you can see, not much really to talk about. Just a bunch of goose eggs. Jameson Taillon, 8 innings. He is now 5-1. His 5 wins leads the Yankees. And Clay Holmes with his 6th save in 6 starts. All right. Joe Bagg says he's got tickets behind home plate tomorrow. That's awesome. Mike D says better base running, hustle, and timely hitting also. Yeah, you have to talk about the base running. The base running's been really solid this year. I've enjoyed watching them make that improvement. Fritz Walter says, unfortunately, Carpenter can't play outfield. You don't really need him to play the outfield, honestly. I think the outfield is fine defensively. I think Andujar is going to get a lot more playing time out there. I mean, he's not killing you. And the way that we can position outfielders now based on the metrics, it makes it a lot easier to put him out there because we pretty much know most of the time where guys are going to hit the ball when they hit it in the air, right? So he doesn't have to cover a ton of ground. He's got a good arm. We know that. He looks more comfortable going back into his right than back into his left glove side. That's not surprising to me. It can be tough. To me, it was always tougher for me going glove side. I knew a lot of outfielders. For them, typically going to your arm side is a little bit better. He looks like he's okay coming in. He's catching the ball with 2 hands. So I just saw someone say that we should dump Hicks and play Andujar out there. I would not have any objections to that. Brett Doy says Carpenter is an old man professional. Good depth pickup. I drink your milkshake. James G says a no batting gloves guy is exactly what this team needed. Love it. Truth Always says Yankees have really good team chemistry. They have really good pitching, and really good pitching breeds a feeling like you can win every night. I mean, who is the easy pitcher to hit? Everybody on this staff is nasty, whether it's Garrett Cole throwing 100 or whether it's Nestor with his nasty cutters, Jordan Montgomery with his big curveballs, and also a pretty nasty cutter. Taillon, the high spin rate fastball. It's been outstanding. Puerto Rican veteran says, you think Cashman will add something significant? We've talked about this several nights in a row that, Juan Soto could be a possibility. A lot of people are doubting that Cashman would go for it in that level, in that way. I honestly think that he might, because how often are the Yankees in this position? 2017, the Yankees were knocking on the door, and he went for it, all in. Well, not all in, but mostly in. And the moves that he made worked. Wombag Doodle says, Jorge Posada never wore gloves. I don't know if you guys know how Jorge Posada treated his hands and built up calluses on his hands. And this is, earmuffs for the little kids. We don't want you trying this at home. But he used to pee on his own hands to toughen them up. And that's gross.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is revolting.
Wompag Doodle says Sears the other night with a great performance too. Yeah, shutout innings from him. The pitching has that's been the story of this season around baseball. A lot of low ERAs. Ball is not traveling, but it's been fun because the Yankees have the best pitching in baseball. Eric C says Yanks not going to get Soto unless they can get an extension worked out with Boris. I don't think that's necessarily true because, well, he is going to get a massive contract. So we'll leave that. But Boras doesn't do midseason contract extensions typically. He takes his players to free agency. And the Yankees know that. This isn't their first time. This isn't their first rodeo, first time trading for somebody. I think it's highly unlikely that he agrees to a contract extension. Although it would be interesting if you signed him to a contract extension and didn't have Judge locked up. But I would love to see it. Moises Alou also didn't wear batting gloves. Who remembers Mike Aldretti from the 96 team? He was a great little kind of a pinch hitter type. I think pinch hitting was his specialty. He didn't wear batting gloves. It's pretty rare. NYY Poll says, favorite bat on trade market not named Juan Soto, preferably someone realistic. As Scott Boras said, Soto will not be traded. Did Scott Boras say that? I didn't see that. Well, appreciate that. First of all, don't know. I think Benintendi is a real option. The Royals are more than a year or two away, I think, from winning. I think that's fair to say. And Benintendi isn't going to want to play out the prime of his career on losing teams. So I think he'll jet via free agency. He fits kind of the Yankees mold of somebody who I think would do well in Yankee Stadium, a left-handed batter, contact hitter. Left-handed contact hitters tend to do a little bit better in Yankee Stadium with the power just because of the short porch, and because if you're good at making contact, it's not that hard for you to pick up, using that backhand a little bit to put some spin on the ball. And as Don Mattingly did, you elevate yourself from a contact guy to a guy who, those long fly balls that would get caught on the warning track will elevate into the, 5th or 10th row. So I think Benintendi is somebody that would work out, but I'm also not opposed to what Fishing with Todd Reed says and Andujar in left field. I mean, righty or lefty, it doesn't seem to phase Miguel Andujar. Let's see here. Danny Trejo also agrees on Benintendi. Wombat Doodle says, carpenters don't need to wear gloves. Do carpenters wear gloves? I feel like carpenters do. I feel like you do. I don't know. I've never done any kind of real physical manual labor. Let's see here. Joe Saban also throws the name Mad Bum out there. I don't know if you need another starting pitcher. Look, the Yankees have depth in the starting pitching area in the minor leagues. I mean, you've got Waldichuk. He's just dominating right now. You've got Hayden Wisniewski, who's pretty good. Garcia off to kind of a rough start, but Clark Schmidt has been throwing the ball well in the bullpen. I would not be opposed to him taking over should the Yankees need another starter. I mean, unless you lose Garrett Cole or Nestor Cortez, God forbid, knock on wood, then I don't think you need to add another starter. I would rather them try and, get the offense a little bit more consistent, a little bit less strikeouts. I think that Gallo will probably be moved just because, he's going to be a free agent. The Yankees aren't going to re-sign him. The fans have soured on him. And, who knows what you get if you add, another 100 points to the average out of, coming from left field and throwing a few more home runs. This team might be unbeatable. James G says Yankees have the scariest rotation in baseball, and I agree 100%. And also Danny Trejo says Herman and Britton to be back later. Yeah, Britton is rehabbing. It sounds like he's going to be back sooner than we all thought, but I'm still not counting on him because a lot of times the control can be the last thing to come around when you're coming back from Tommy John surgery. So his elbow, is probably going to be fine, but in terms of just the pitching reps, I don't know that he's going to be, he's not a guy who has great control anyway. I just don't know if he's going to be ready for a playoff run. We saw Jordan Montgomery come back late in the season that one year when he came back from Tommy John, and he kind of pitched a little bit, but he got left off the roster. We saw, Severino last year. He came back out of the bullpen. He was pretty solid, but I looking at him this year, he's just a completely different pitcher. And, he was good out of the bullpen last year. So, I mean, it happens. But in terms of the other guy that was coming back, I forget who you mentioned, Herman. He's a starting pitcher. And he's a guy who wears down, but typically starts off really well. So having him for just the end of the season, you might get him at his strongest point. But they're taking their time with him, and I actually think that's a really good strategy. Keep him healthy for when you need him in August and September. And it's, I hate this is a cliche, but it's like making a trade for your own player. Let's see here. Warren France says, this team thrives when it's next man up.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, baby.
Grayson Gaming says, bullpen needs help. I mean, the bullpen has been fantastic, but we've got some questionable injuries now. Chapman, Loizaga. If there's other guys out there like Clay Holmes that are on Brian Cashman's radar, that's what I want. I don't need a Josh Hader. I would love a Josh Hader, but I would love somebody that you don't have to give up much to get, and he turns into an absolute monster, as Clay Holmes has. Hey, we got 728 people in the chat. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to give a little plug to my audio podcast, by the way. If you're new here, and I know a lot of you have, the channel's been growing a lot this year. We're over 25,000 now, but I put all these recaps in audio form on all podcast platforms. It's called the Frieze. And then I also do independent episodes that are usually like 20 or 30 minutes long, have conversations with folks. And those come out also on that channel. So we're going to expand that over the next couple of years. I'm going to try and get into more long form conversations during the off season, maybe a couple 2-3 hour long conversations with, different creators, different baseball personalities, maybe some athletes in there, but really, dig in. So I want you guys to subscribe to that. I want everybody to have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I know not everybody's going to be able to join the chat tomorrow and Sunday. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do one Sunday, but I'm probably going to do one tomorrow. So stick around. No pregame, but I will see you tomorrow. One more time from John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
20 games over 500.
More of that, please.
Good night, YouTube.